One of the most important things to understand as you are planning for your retirement, whether you may be 50 or 55, you may be in your 60s already drawing Social Security, but even if you're not drawing Social Security, it's so important to understand how your Social Security benefits are taxed in retirement. And as we go through the video today, I'm going to show you what goes into the calculation that can ultimately cause some of your benefits to be subject to taxation, and hopefully give you some ideas about things that you could potentially be doing right now to help to minimize that tax years in the future when you finally do start drawing Social Security, or if you are already drawing it today. Now, that is so important to you because the less tax that you pay on your Social Security benefits, the more you get to keep. The more you get to keep, the less you have to withdraw from your portfolio to support you in retirement. And the less you have to withdraw from your portfolio to cover all your expenses, taxes being one of them, the less pressure your portfolio has on it, the more likely it can last longer in retirement. And to help you avoid probably the biggest concern that most retirees have is, am I going to run out of money in retirement? So this is a really important topic. Now, if you've looked over your 1040, if you've ever looked over that, we're coming off of tax season, and you'll see this line on your 1040 where it'll say Social Security benefits. And that's where the benefits that you receive from Social Security were put in over here on the more left side of the screen. And then you'll see this other line that says taxable amount. So not all of your Social Security benefits are subject to taxation. There's actually a calculation that is used to determine how much of these benefits over here under this 6A line, how much of those will actually have to be included as a taxable amount that you pay taxes on. So let's understand what causes your Social Security benefits to be taxed. And there are income thresholds. So for example, if you are married filing jointly, if you pass an income threshold of $32,000, then up to 50% of your Social Security benefits could be subject to taxation. They're not taxed at 50%, but 50% of them could be subject to where you pay taxes on that income. If you exceed the threshold of 44,000, then it can go up to 85% of your Social Security benefits could be subject to tax. Now, with a single individual filing single tax return, then the number is 25,000 for 50%, up to 50% being taxable, and 34,000 for up to 85% of Social Security being taxable. Now, you'll notice it right as of current law right now, no more than 85% can be subject to tax, which means that 15% of your Social Security benefits are tax-free. Now, an interesting thing to note about this is these numbers are not inflation adjusted, which means they stay steady. So as cost of living goes up, as Social Security benefits have cost of living adjustments that make them bigger and bigger, as inflation occurs, it gets a lot more likely that more and more people are going to have their Social Security benefits subject to taxation because these numbers are not pegged with inflation to go up over time. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, what goes into these numbers for these thresholds here? What is the countable income? Well, it's first of all your adjusted gross income, and that's going to include most income that you have, like pensions, wages that you earn, IRA withdrawals. Be thinking about that as well, because when you retire, most people have the bulk of their wealth in a 401k, which they usually will roll into an IRA, or even if they keep it in a 401k and they take withdrawals from it, that counts as income that can contribute toward having more of your Social Security benefits subject to taxation. What's interesting also is that non-taxable interest income also counts in this calculation. So think of like municipal bonds, where you may not have to pay tax on them. It's non-taxable federal income tax on them. That number can still be used, or will still be used, to push you into a threshold where your Social Security benefits are taxed. And then lastly, 50% of your Social Security benefits, they'll take half of those benefits and count that number in the calculation to get you to that income threshold that determines whether or not those benefits are going to be subject to taxation or not. So that's what goes into it. Now, what does not go into it is very interesting. What does not count on this calculation is Roth IRA withdrawals. Not only if you follow the rules of a Roth IRA, not only can the withdrawals be 100% tax-free, but unlike municipal bond interest income, which can be federal income tax-free but still count toward these thresholds, Roth IRA withdrawals do not count toward these thresholds. Now, that's really important because if you haven't started drawing Social Security yet, and you are thinking about doing some Roth IRA conversions, just as an example, that additional income can push you up. You have to claim that as taxes, as income to pay taxes on, and that can count towards your threshold to cause some of your Social Security benefits to be subject to tax. But once the money's over in Roth, then those withdrawals from the Roth do not count toward this. So it brings up an interesting point that if you're not yet drawing Social Security, you might want to be looking at opportunities, especially if you're close to those thresholds that we just went over a second ago, that you might want to do some Roth conversions, start making it to where when you start taking traditional IRA withdrawals that push you into those taxable thresholds for Social Security, you might want to think, well, maybe I need to start putting some of these IRA funds, do some Roth conversions, getting them over into the Roth segment so that when I'm retired, it can help me to minimize the taxes that I may be subject on my Social Security benefit. Okay, so really, really important. So if you're wondering why your Social Security benefits could be taxable in retirement, it's probably because you're hitting these certain thresholds that are pushing you into that. Sometimes it's avoidable, sometimes it's not. Well, I hope that helps. And if you have, want some additional free information for planning your retirement, feel free to head on over to retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. You can download a copy of the essential step-by-step retirement guide that's going to give you some additional helpful information to help you as you're planning for your retirement. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.